So as time goes on, there are more reports that are coming out about The Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid has been the subject of a lot of controversy. You guys are already well aware of this. I don't need to go into it. But essentially, it has come out that the budget is a lot higher than they initially claimed. Now, this is becoming a trend, if you guys are aware, when it comes to Disney especially. The budgets are severely underreported. They always underreport the budgets, and they never include marketing in the initial budget as well. So when you start putting these numbers together, you really start to realize just how massive of a loss these companies are taking. Because here's the thing, when it comes to, look, we got an article really quick from Bounding Into Comics. It says, report, the Little Mermaid production budget soared to nearly 300 million, more than doubling its losses at the box office. So you're going to have a lot of shill media that are going to take this part right here, 300 million. They're going to take that part and say, well, the movie made $350 million at the theaters. So that means it made a $50 million profit. The movie is a success. Congratulations, wokeness. Take that, conservatives. Go eat a dick, right? Like that's what they do. But the thing is, it is very false in terms of numbers, and it's also extremely misleading to their readers. And the thing is, a lot of these writers, they know that. They know that what they're doing and what they're writing is extremely misleading, and what they're saying is not the truth. They know this, but they don't care. It's all about maintaining access, right? So they want to maintain the good graces of their woke overlords at Disney or whatever company they're shilling for, so that they maintain their access and keep their own company going. But ultimately, if a movie does 300 million at the box office, guess what? That means on average they took home about $150 million. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, they take home about half on average when it comes to the box office. The movie theaters do not work for free. And when you try to say this to people who truly believe that a $300 million budget against 350 made at the box office means a $50 million profit, when you try to explain this to those kind of people, they look at you and they immediately, like, their brains fry, and then their last resort to call you a bigot. That's basically it. So let's get into this article, guys, from Bounding Into Comics. But of course, before we do, I'm Shadowban as hell. If you're new here, consider subscribing. I would greatly appreciate it. And don't forget to like the video to push us out into the YouTube algorithm. It says, a new report details that recently released the Little Mermaid production budget soared to over 300 million instead of the previously reported $250 million estimate. Variety initially reported the film cost around $250 million to produce in their coverage of the film's opening weekend box office woes. Elise Schaefer and Pat Saperstein wrote, with a $250 million production budget, The Little Mermaid must bait box office success in order to make a reasonable return. However, a new report from Caroline Reed at Forbes reveals that the film's budget swelled to nearly $300 million by the end of August last year, 8 months before the movie opened. $300 million is an insane amount of money, and you know what? I honestly believe it, because the amount of CGI that was in this movie, it had to be expensive to produce. It says Reed's report is based off a filing in the United Kingdom where she uncovered that the film's production company was filed under the Walt Disney Company subsidiary Sandcastle Pictures. Those filings showed that Disney did receive a roughly $46.6 million tax rebate, which converts to $56.8 million. That means the net budget would decline to $240.2 million. However, that net estimate might actually be low, given her calculations appear to not factor in any kind of currency exchange or inflation, given the cost for the Little Mermaid production going back to 2019. On top of that, it's possible another report could also come in, adding additional costs, given the last report was from August of 2022, and the film did not arrive in theaters until May of 2023. Reed does note that this filing does not include other post-production costs, which can range in the tens of millions of dollars. Nevertheless, if you use Reed's rough estimate of the production budget, clocking in at $297 million after converting from $243.5 million, the film's losses more than double what many estimates had for the film using the $250 million estimate. So, again, it is an insane amount of money that they have spent on this movie. Why that is, I'm not sure. You can say CGI is very expensive, but we've seen the levels of their CGI. Considering how trash it is lately in the last 5 years or so of movies, you gotta wonder, like, why are you spending so much money on CGI when it's so terrible? Either you are very mismanaged, which is, it's possible, right? Like, they could be an extremely mismanaged studio, or you're just overpaying for what you're getting, right? Like, they're just paying so much money for this nonsense. And then it says, according to the numbers, The Little Mermaid only made 569.1 million worldwide, with 298.1 million coming from North America, while 270.9 million came from various international markets. Using a $250 million production budget, the film needed to gross at least 625 million to break even. Obviously, the film did not do that, and thus estimates of its losses came in just shy of 60 million. However, if you adjust the production budget to the new 297 million number provided by the UK government, the break-even point moves to 742.5 million. Thus, the losses have also increased to 127.8 million freaking dollars, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, Little Mermaid has lost well over $100 million. And you know what? Is anybody seriously shocked? Like, I can't even laugh at it, because like, it is so obvious that this is what was going to happen, right? You knew this Little Mermaid was going to be a fart in the wind. Nobody was going to care about Black Little Mermaid. Like, you are really using this IP to not only virtue signal, but you're also trying to maintain rights because you don't want it to go to public domain. So you try to remake these shows, you remake these movies, and you're trying to wokeify everything. You're trying to modernize everything, and nobody cares. The message fell on deaf ears. Think about it. This movie is terrible in the grand scheme of things. It's not going to be it's not going to be remembered at all. This movie is not going to be remembered by anybody. We could talk about it. We could talk about the budget and everything, but who's talking about Little Mermaid? Is anybody still talking about Little Mermaid or how magical it was? No. Only a couple of black fake profile pictures on Twitter are talking about it, right? Like, you see those bot accounts are like, oh, Halle Bailey, she's so incredible, she's so amazing, and every single one of them have Halle Bailey as a profile picture. Yeah, that's totally real, bro. Totally real. So again, this is where we're at when it comes to The Little Mermaid, and it's a joke. It's a big-time joke, and Disney knows it's a joke. That's why they don't ever release actual numbers. It says that's also using a conservative factor of 2.5x the film's production budget. Star Trek actor and film producer Simon Pegg previously indicated that the Star Trek films needed to make 3 times their production in order to be profitable. He said that the fact that Star Trek movies don't make Marvel money, they make maybe 500 million at most, and to make one now on the scale that they set themselves is 200 million. You have to make 3 times that to make a profit. If one actually needs to make 3 times the film's production budget, The Little Mermaid needed to gross at least 891 million to break even. Its losses would then come in at 180 million dollars. Now again, I think that's reaching at that point. I think that's trying to find more where there's not. We already know it lost money. We don't have to keep making up things in order for it to seem like it lost more money. Ultimately, Disney lost a lot of money on this movie, just like they've been losing a lot of money on a lot of movies. And you're gonna see it again with the wokeified Bambi that's gonna come out. You know how bad Bambi's gonna do? Like, you guys real? I can say pretty confidently, I don't like putting 100% on anything, but I can damn near promise you that Bambi is going to be a massacre, okay? It's going to be an absolute massacre. The only chance that Bambi has is in the international market, because it seems like these live action animal remakes like The Lion King do extremely well internationally. That's the only chance that movie has. Otherwise, in North America, it's going to bomb. They're not going to go out to go see this woke Bambi that's going to be a trans deer, and it's probably going to be black, and they're going to turn it into a female transitioning deer. It's going to be stupid. So again, ladies and gentlemen, we can make these jokes as much as we want, but Little Mermaid is completely just pointless. Like, the movie's pointless. The entire thing was pointless. We knew it was pointless, and we're just having fun realizing just how much more money they have lost. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you did enjoy it, and if you did, consider leaving me a subscribe. I would greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like the video, comment, let me know what you thought, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Hypnotic out.